Hello, I am Laura Jarvis and we are at Rainbow Gardens Nurseries, and we are going to talk just a little bit about citrus trees. And we have a question from our Facebook viewers today, and the question is, what are some of the best citrus for containers? So first of all, you can grow several different types of citrus in containers and they will do extremely well. Some can take freezes and can be outside longer in the winter time or even over winter. And some, like lemons and limes, need winter protection. Most of us bring them inside a greenhouse or inside the house. What I like to do is get Christmas lights, not the LED, those have no warmth to them, but the old-fashioned Christmas lights, and you wrap those Christmas lights around your stem and then up through the branches. Then you can throw a freeze cloth over the top of that, and those little lights are going to generate enough warmth to keep that citrus tree warm during cold freezes. One of the most cold-hardy oranges that you can get is called an Arctic Frost. They are cold-hardy down to around 15 degrees after approximately 3 years. Some of my favorite are satsumas. The satsumas are very, very tasty. They are the ones that we see in the stores called cuties and halos and some of these different types that are very thin-skinned, easy to peel. Most of them have very, very little seed in them, and they're always yummy. Satsumas, the best way to acclimatize them is to bring them into your yard. If you're not planting in the springtime, leave them for a year in their pot. Find that space, bring in your orange tree, and just leave it in that same place. Protect it for at least 3 years before you're leaving it uncovered during the hard frosts. Normally, the satsumas can go down to around 15, 16, 17 degrees, depending on the varieties. So most of our frosts here in town are not going to be anywhere near that cold, and you should do just fine with them and get lots of yummy fruit. There are orange trees that are a dwarf variety. I love this one. This is called a miho, and miho is perfect for containers. This one normally is going to top out at about 6 feet, possibly a little taller depending on the size of the container that you're going to keep it in. Citrus like to be shrubby. If we are keeping the stem clean and full upright, we call that a standard. A lot of people want their trees to look like that. Number one, you're going to get a little bit less fruit, because just think, if this bottom of this is all branched out and you have multiple blooms, you have a lot more fruiting area than if you just have a rounded top. The other thing with citrus, and this is extremely important, you are always going to want to trim anything that's below a graft. Most of our citrus trees are grafted, and there's a couple of reasons that they do that. So what we want to do is keep this stem clean. As it comes down towards the soil, most of the grafts are going to be about 8 to 10 inches above the soil level. So right here, if you see this, this is the original graft point. Now, as this tree grows, that graft point is going to become less and less noticeable. We have to always prune off anything that comes up below this graft point. This down here is the rootstock. It's always stronger than the top. It will take over if we don't clip that off. Different oranges take a very long time to fruit. They're going to set the cutest little fruit, and then they're going to slowly over time grow. Normally they're going to come in the fall, winter months. So usually about the holiday time, you're going to be able to eat your oranges, lemons, and limes. Here are two of my favorite fertilizers for citrus trees. My margarita tree that I have at home, if you didn't know, that is my Mexican lime. She's always producing, so I have to feed her a lot. I feed my citrus trees regularly. I go a little bit more often than 3 times a year. I know a lot of fruit trees, they say fertilize 3 times a year. Well, I fertilize on a regular basis, and as that tree grows, if my new growth is not dark green and pretty like the growth here that you see, then I am going to go ahead and fertilize. The thing is that we always want to remember when we're fertilizing is go by the label. It will tell you exactly how much at a time for the size of your pot. Just throwing some in there and guessing really isn't what we want to do.